Hi, my name is Amanda, and I'm 23 years old. I am born and raised in Miami, Florida. I'm Hispanic. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a straight female. I speak both English and Spanish very fluently. So, to begin with, I'm a middle class family. My parents have always done the best what they can with us, the best they can with us. So we've always had an easy, okay life, nothing too crazy. Both my parents got here 13, 14 years old. They did the best they can to provide us with the best education and best life that we can have, and I appreciate that. To begin, um, so I am a first generation graduate. Neither of my parents went to college. They just went from, they got here. My mom is Cuban, my dad is Puerto Rican. So as soon as they got here, they went to school, finished school, graduated high school, and that's it. That's all they did. So because of that, they ended up just meeting when they were like 21 together. They had me and my siblings. And my dad literally told my mom, "You're not working." So he didn't allow her to work. So up until 4 years ago, was when she started working. So let me see. So I made it a goal to myself that I wanted to graduate, to be the first generation to graduate in my family. Because of this, I have privilege, privileges and disadvantages. Some of my privileges are knowing that I can speak both Spanish and English, and I can communicate with people who have a tough time, whether if they're trying to talk English or whether they're trying to talk Spanish. Living in Miami, it is very, I guess, not crucial, but you must know either or, because that's just how Miami is. Especially when it comes like to Spanish, most people in Miami know Spanish. Um, Also, it's also good when you know Spanish because you could communicate. Your communication levels will go so much farther than just not really knowing, only knowing English and not really knowing Spanish. So some key educational experiences that shaped my views about teaching, learning as a role as an educator, and the purpose of my education is that during my elementary years, I had amazing teachers. I went to Somerset, which is very common over here in Miami, Florida. Um, and I was there from kindergarten to eighth grade. So I literally had my whole lifetime just there. That was just my school. 2006 to 2015, sorry, I was there. So because of this, my kinder teacher, my kinder first, literally all my kindergartens to fifth grade teachers were like my inspiration basically to me wanting to become a teacher. They knew exactly what they had to talk about. They knew their role as a teacher slash as a parent too, because being a teacher, sometimes you have to cater to these kids that don't really have that household. I guess you could say like strong connection. So these teachers were really on top of us. They were very helpful. They were very caring. They always like helped, even if you looked lost or not. They were there for you. And I think that as a teacher, that should be very important because you need to have that bond with that student to a certain extent, of course. And just knowing that I had my teachers when I needed them most really helped me, because it's like, okay, if I see this teacher doing this for me as well as doing this for the child, like I'm trying to be like you. So that's basically like how I'm like, I really like the way of this interaction with the teacher and the student. Also, just on top of that, ever since I was little, I've always liked children. So I would always be with my little cousins, with my nieces, my nephews. I would always try to be like the mom to them. And to this day, I have a goddaughter and a godson, and I'm always with them. Um, so let me see. Sorry, I have it written down on my notebook. Hopefully, this is okay. So during my sixth grade year, this is where it all comes in, and it comes down to, do I really want to be a teacher? And you may ask why. Like you just said, you liked kids, you loved how your elementary teachers were. Why? Like, what was the sudden change? So this year, I literally had this teacher. I will never forget her. Her name was Miss Gonzalez, and I don't know what I did to her. She just didn't like me. I would ask questions. I would present like when I need to present. I would give her every single detail possible, like for my explanations, and she was just like, no, it's wrong. Even if it were right, I would still be wrong. I know I would always come in late, like by 1 minute. It could even be 30 seconds. She'd be like, go get a tardy pass. She was just like so, like, I'll never forget, like, the tension she had on her. Like, maybe she had something going on, but as a teacher, you can't always bring what's out. I was always told, like, you leave everything outside the door. Like, no matter how bad your day is, you, as a teacher, you're a teacher in this moment. Whatever happened at 6 a.m. when you woke up, you need to leave it outside the door. Because at the end of the day, these kids are for you. You're there to help them learn and achieve their goals. So you coming in with all this tension, it's like, why are you being mean? Why are you being upset? Which is what happened to me in my 6th grade year. So it had like a very negative like impact in my 6th grade year, because I remember I did the project that she wanted me to do, and after literally doing the whole entire board, she's like, this is not what I asked for. I was just like, what? This is what you asked for. So that really, like, in a sense, like, made me upset, but kind of sad, because it's like, I'm trying my best for this teacher. She doesn't really care. She doesn't see what I see. So it's like, why are you teaching? So that, in that moment, in my 6th grade year, I honestly thought, like, if this is what teachers are going to be like, why am I going to be a teacher? Thankfully, I passed the 7th, 8th grade, and I have phenomenal teachers yet again. So it was just like one experience that just triggered me, and it was just like, this teacher's not teaching correctly, but you're not going to impact, I guess, my way of wanting to help others as a teacher. So I did have some positive teachers that really made me see differently, like, I guess, like, in the teaching world. So I had this one teacher. I'm very, 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 very bad at math. And she basically explained and elaborated every single problem to me after I told her, like, I did not understand, like, 4 or 5 times. But she made it, like, a goal for herself to help me. So, again, as I'm coming onto this field and I'm, willing to learn what others are doing and grow from what they're experiencing, this comes back to me, because it's like, this teacher went above and beyond just to make sure that I understood that lesson, just to make sure that even if I got it wrong the 4th time, the 5th time, she still came back again and was like, no, this is how you do it. And that's why I truly, like, aspire to be, like, one day in the future, when I do have my own class, when I do have anybody that I'm teaching to, like, I want to be that teacher that impacts a child's life and be like, I did not give up on you, so I'm going to make sure you know what you're doing. So now that I've been through, like, some amazing teachers and a couple poorly ones that really, it was just like that one teacher. I know that, like I was saying, like, I know that teacher I aspire to be has to be willing to be helpful, be caring, be understanding, and always be patient. Teaching is not just for everybody. Everybody says it's the worst job, and it's honestly not the worst job. If you truly love kids and you truly want kids to be more in the future, this is where they start. Because without them going through school and learning about new things and coming up with all of these ideas that they always have, they're not going to be anyone. So as a goal for myself as a teacher, I would want my students to go above and beyond, and I would want to help them go above and beyond and just be amazing students one day. So a major social and political event, it was both, honestly, that happened in my school. Well, not in my school, but around, I think it was like 2014, maybe 15. Or no, it was my freshman year in high school. So 2015, I think it was, I'm not sure. Was the shooting, Douglas, I think it was. Something like that. I know I said it wrong. My bad. So I think this was very major event, because honestly, like, after the shootings happened, everybody didn't feel safe. Nobody wanted to go to school. Mostly those kids in that school, the ones that did survive, needed a lot of mental health therapy sessions. They needed the help, and till this day, like, there's still shootings going on, and it's like, why? So students didn't feel safe. They were scared. They started doing the impacts of political through marches. So people were going out in the streets to take away the guns. People should have licenses for guns. So I think that really, like, impacted us, because we were 15, 16 years old, and this is like a huge, not a crisis, but it was crazy. Like, why is this happening? Like, why are people going into schools where there's children? And like, it's so sad because it's like these were kids, not even adults. Like, whether it was adults or kids, like, it's just a very like hard topic to even talk about because it affected a lot of people. And till this day, again, like some schools, like my school that I work at, we're trying to get metal detectors because nobody feels safe anymore. You don't know what can happen, and every time there's like a red code or a yellow drill, like people start getting scared. They start texting their parents. The school has to call the parents, and the first thing the parents think is there's a shooting, there's a shooter, there's an active shooter, which is very scary. As a parent, I can't even imagine how they must feel. Um, so who and what shaped my beliefs about the goals of education? I honestly think it was my first grade teacher, Miss Albert, because like I said in the beginning, my elementary school teachers were phenomenal. But I think this one teacher, her name was Miss Albert, like I just said, she just knew how to teach, what to teach, how to role model any type of experiment, assessment, worksheet, anything that we're doing. It was just like very well thought out. Again, I was very I guess you could say like a hard learner because I didn't have no help at all. I was just very, I guess, ADHD. Like I would just get bored of what I was doing. Not that I was smart. I just didn't want to do it because I procrastinated or I was lazy. Until this day, I still am like that. So, but what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, so she impacted my life and like why I wanted to teach, as well as when I started working at preschools. I worked at the Early Learning Coalition for 2 years, and then my learning academy. I was a director there. So those 2 years, I saw a lot of different things. Obviously, two different preschools, and I just thought like I I know what I want to do, why I want to teach, and the reason why I want to teach and why I want to do this and pursue this is because I see children and I see like they should grow and learn, and I want to be the one to be there for them to like help them succeed into those um into their life and be successful. I want to teach them. I want to see how like from first grade to maybe fourth, fifth grade, I could show the growth from that. And even if it's just a year, because the 2 years that I was working at the preschool, from 2 year olds to 3 year olds, it's a big gap. And first, they don't know how to talk, or they talk very minimum or a little bit, and then out of nowhere, it's just like run on sentences, and they're just talking, talking, talking. You're just like, wow, like this kid really knows how to talk. So I just think like that was my like what my belief, I guess, about teaching, education, my goal. Um, so basically, that just I just want to make sure these children get a good understanding of how the real world is and learn about it correctly. Throughout the years, yeah. So then I put my vision as an educator is to have students learn, but also have fun, not just be bored. I want my students to learn in my classroom. So I don't want to just teach about an elephant and be like, okay, yeah, an elephant's just great. Not why is an elephant great, but okay, an elephant's a mammal. It has a big trunk. It likes being in the mud. They need to be more like very moist, but they also like tanning in the sun. So I want my kids, and then have like maybe a model where the kids could play with it and all of that. So the people who impacted my life, and I need to wrap this up already. The people who impacted my life and my experiences as a learner and piqued my interest was all started, as I said again, in my elementary school years, and I've always enjoyed being with kids and watching them grow, accomplish them, and seeing how they accomplish new goals, understand what I'm teaching, and have a warm, welcoming environment, as well as having fun while teaching. I think that's my biggest belief about my goals of education, that students should have fun while learning. Not too much fun that they get distracted, but just a minimum amount of fun that they could learn while have fun while learning. Okay, but yeah, um, that's my presentation, and hopefully you guys all understand